Hi YouTubers, Gil. So for this video, it's gonna be about how do I feel about myself when I see my own videos, like my own videos with my own pictures of my own self on there, like when I was 18 years old. How do I feel about myself? It's actually a really good question. So that's why I decided to put a video, because it would sound like something that would be a good one to answer. So when I look at myself on these videos, like when I was 18 years old, it's just a fact that when I was that young, it's like I just remember my days when I was that young. So, what I think of myself when I see my young self in there, just like I say, I can remember when I was young, and like I had black hair, like my hair had no gray at all. Damn, man. It's like I can remember those days. I remember, I would feel like when I look at myself, it's like it's kind of like sad to me in these certain ways, because I'm not young anymore. I'm not 18 years old anymore, and I sort of miss the way I used to look. How young I was. I kind of miss it in a way, but it's like, what can I say? Time goes by. We all go through our time. So, but when I look at myself back then, how I miss the young self that I was back then, like where I look so young, it's my hair like totally black, man, and I had lots of energy there. It's like when I look at myself then, shit, it's like I just feel sad about the fact that I was young back then. I tell you, back then I was 18 years old, but now I'm so much older than that. But my days are over. So my 18-year-old days are over. But that's how I feel. When I look at myself, I just remember how young I was back then, and I remember how I felt back then. Like I look at myself in those videos, and it's like I kind of like miss my old self in some ways, in those certain ways. Like those days, like they're gone. Those days are totally gone, and the way it feels that. On the way that it feels, on the fact that there's no way I could go back to that day, as I could tell you. But the way I feel in general, looking at myself, or in general life, we just go along with it. We just go along with our age, and we just go along with it. It's like the best thing I could tell you about all this is just, all you gotta do is just make sure that you make your life as good as possible, or like the rule says, or the rule that I learned in life is, the best kind of memories is the kind that you make yourself. So you just gotta make a good memory out of all this, so, and then you're not gonna regret that you're not young anymore. You're not, like the way I feel looking at myself, it's like I feel like there's no more, like the feeling of, oh man, I'm not there anymore, but if you make a good memory out of all days of your life, it'll be all right, man. I tell you, no problem, so at this point, I'm all good. I'm fine, I'm fine. I'm not bothered by it, but anyway. Well, except for, see, the thing is, you'll be bothered by looking at your old self when you're 18 years old if you decide not to make a good memory out of yourself, and if you don't take care of yourself as well, then that's where you'll see more regret, or that's where you'll feel like you miss your old self, But for me, like I say, looking at my old self in those videos, it's like I say to myself, man, I remember how young I was back then, and like look how young I looked back then, But I'm not bothered by it because I see it all the time, and plus those videos are actually, believe it or not, are helping me. I mean, like, improve my life, because when you look at the past, sometimes you look at your own self and then you remember, and they might be looking at your old self can actually be an inspiration for you to want to do things that would improve yourself today. I mean, if it all applies, you know. So this is the whole story about, I mean, the things that I have to say. I mean, that this is a good topic for me to post up. So there you have it.